Behnam Ben Taleblu, Senior Director of the Iran Program at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, joins us now. Thanks for coming back. Let's take this in bites. First, the optimism you're hearing from Foreign Minister Araghchi, at least on the path to substantive negotiations. I read that you see Iran playing the game it has always played. What do you see here in this optimism?
Well, great to be back with you again. I think we have to pay attention to who the real decision makers are in the Islamic Republic of Iran, and that's not the foreign minister. It's actually the supreme leader. That's a title meant to be taken rather literally. And he hasn't been speaking that much since the end of the 12-day war with Israel and America, but he's spoken about maybe 14, 16 times since then, and his most recent speech struck a drastically, and I want to stress that for the audience, drastically different tone than what Araghchi has said, both in his Fox interview as well as in his MSNBC interview that you just alluded to. So while Araghchi is injecting a little bit of cautious optimism, I would say the chances of a deal are about 20% and dropping with the Islamic Republic at this rate. Even if, for example, enrichment was not discussed, there's a whole host of other issues that do divide and keep apart the U.S. and Iran, especially at this very tense moment.
And so you say there's a strong contrast between what we're hearing from the Ayatollah and what we're hearing from the foreign minister. What's the most relevant contrast that you hear from the supreme leader?
Well, I don't want to get too into the details. It might sound a bit too theological, but the supreme leader of Iran also is an Ayatollah, as you mentioned. And he does reference Islamic political history, and in particular Shiite political history, to justify political moves. For example, when he authorized nuclear negotiations with President Obama back in 2013, under the auspices of the P5+1, he talked about Imam Hassan, and he talked about heroic flexibility, needing to show flexibility with your opponents, and that paved the pathway for the 2015 JCPOA deal. But here he's been talking about Imam Hussein, whose epithet, the master of martyrs, kind of tells you all you need to know about the direction the Islamic Republic is headed in. And it's quite rare also internally to have military, political, and religious elites sing from the same sheet of music. And the same sheet of music is that if there's a strike, no matter how limited, Iran will respond in a massive way.
And so you mentioned the JCPOA that President Trump ended in his first term in 2018. And I just want to read a bit of what we learned from that interview from the foreign minister. We've not offered any suspension, and the U.S. side has not asked for zero enrichment. What we are now talking about is how to make sure that Iran's nuclear program, including enrichment, is peaceful and will remain peaceful forever, which would be too similar to the JCPOA. That it would be a complete contrast to what we're hearing from President Trump publicly. Is that credible at all, that continuing an enrichment program is part of the conversation?
Well, certainly the challenge for the Islamic Republic right now is how to transpose the reality that they're currently not enriching since the end of the 12-day war into something that looks like it's a concession for the United States of America. And that's precisely why America can ask for bigger things, more challenging things, because it's actually taken away enrichment from the Islamic Republic. It's taken away the capacity. It hasn't taken away the capability, aka the know-how, but nonetheless, Iran is not currently enriching today. So the Islamic Republic has decreasingly been able to actually threaten to restore enrichment or anything else like that, and therefore it's trying to find a way to make Trump pay what he previously got for free, and that gets at the heart of the matter of enrichment in this agreement.
Yeah, the USS Gerald Ford, that carrier strike group, is in the Mediterranean. Of course, the Abraham Lincoln has been there for some time. You've said that the chance of a deal is 20% and dropping. So we know what you believe about the potential for a military strike. What are the indicators from Iran that they believe that a military strike is coming?
Well, it's actually very interesting that both America and Iran continue to talk about being interested in negotiations, but also continue to do things physically that tell you that they're getting ready for a strike. The Islamic Republic, for example, continues to build back better when it comes to its ballistic missile program. We know that that's really the spinal cord of its deterrence at this point in time. It's the long pole of the regime's security strategy. And then most importantly, it seems to be hardening some nuclear sites. So in the case that there's a strike that is not not just against missile facilities, but actually against what's left of the nuclear program, particularly a future a plant that is believed to be a future enrichment facility or previous research and development labs. Those things, per commercial satellite imagery, are being hardened. So when you take its tough rhetoric on missiles and then you look at this kind of hardening and dispersal, it looks like both sides are getting ready for exit options from negotiations.
Behnam Ben Taleblu, thank you so much for being with us.